Hey everybody, my name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film. Thanks for joining us tonight for the screening of Breaking Fast, which is sponsored by Cornerstone Financial and Don Dusek. We're here with the Q&A for Breaking Fast, and luckily we have a lot of folks to talk to. So I'm gonna let our guests go around and tell who they are in relationship to the film, and then we're gonna get started. You wanna start, Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael Cassidy. I play Cal in the film.
Hi, I'm Mike Masalem. I'm the writer-director of the film.
And hi, I'm Sarah Bazzi. I'm one of the producers on the film.
Hi, I'm Amin Al-Gamal, and I played Sam. I saw an opportunity and I took it, guys.
And I'm Alina Elsmar. I play Muna in the film, Sam's cousin.
Great. Thank you all so very much for joining us. I will say that, Breaking Fast, when you mention Breaking Fast to other people, it's just a movie that makes everybody smile. I mean, our screening committee loved this movie. It's just something that we are really, really happy to show, and we're happy that you're here tonight. Why don't we start off with some basic questions and go from there? How did this film come up for you?
Yeah, it's based on a short film that I wrote and directed that was fortunate enough to play Cannes in 2015. And after we went to Cannes and a variety of other festivals, we got enough interest to continue developing Mo and Cal's story. I spent probably the next 3 years writing and rewriting the script for the feature version. And then in 2018, we were very lucky enough to find funding for our little independent film, and we produced it at the end of 2018, did post-production all through 2019, and here we are.
Great. I mean, I know you've been asked this before, but can you talk a little bit, how autobiographical is this film?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I do get asked that question a lot, and it used to scare me that people would think that I would be that I would do that, and I guess it's fine if I would, but it's not autobiographical. However, it does derive from many aspects of my life and my friends' lives and people around me, just because there's such a desire and a need to feel represented on screen, and the whole genesis of the project is a result of not being able to answer that simple question of who best represents you on screen. And so I wrote someone who looked like my story and my friend's stories, and that's where we're at. And I also love Superman and my grandmother and musical theater.
Nice. Let's ask a producer question. How hard was this film to actually get made?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, this film is very much a labor of love. So we really couldn't have made this film without an incredible amount of people's support. It's a really hard question to quantify because we've just been so close to it for so long. I mean, it's always a miracle when any independent film gets made, if you want my honest opinion. But yeah, it was, raising money is hard. Finding the right thing is hard. Finding the right support is hard. But, thank God it was just one of those really special projects where it felt a lot easier than it probably was. So, we were very lucky for sure.
And what Sarah isn't saying is that as the director of the film, the producers who worked on it shielded me from any hardships they may have felt. They let me do exactly what I wanted to do with the actors. They were a real rock star team, individually and collectively, and they really produced the hell out of making this little movie look like it was far more expensive and had far more resources than it did.
Nice. For my performers, can you talk a little bit about how you came to the project, and just tell us, obviously most everyone has seen the film who's here, but just tell us a little bit about your respective characters.
I'll go. I keep looking around the room that I'm in that no one else is in. Should I talk? So my character Cal is the love interest of the main character Mo, played by Haas Sleiman. And I read the script and felt very strongly that I could bring something to the role, and that the script and the story had brought something to me. It felt like a funny representation of what I wanted love to look like. And I wanted to participate in that kind of love for 3 weeks straight. And that was my sort of like short, pleasant experience, pretty simply.
I play Sam, who I think in the rom-com universe is the funny best friend archetype. So I mean, when I was younger and I would watch rom-coms, the funny best friend was always my favorite. Like the scene stealer who you're like, I want more of them.
Yeah.
The weirdo who makes me laugh. So I was really excited to play that role and chew all the furniture that I could chew. I'm also a queer Muslim, and I'm Arab, so it was really exciting to have a role that embraced some of the intersections of who I am in a positive and joyful way.
Nice.
And I auditioned. That's how I became part of the project.
I have known Mike for some time and was lucky enough to be in the short.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when the feature came around, I probably shouldn't say this in a public venue that is recorded, but I would do anything that Mike asked me to do, pretty much. And so when I got the chance to audition.
So much so that she played a role that was written for her and even still auditioned for it.
And for me, what was so exciting above and beyond, I think, was so many representations of Arab women are very one-dimensional in one specific thing. And Muna was so different than any other Middle Eastern woman that I'd seen on screen, and so funny that of course I would do it. There was zero doubt in my mind that I would do whatever he asked.
This film feels just really fresh, something like, we've never seen before. But I'm just curious. I mean, a lot of you have mentioned the rom-coms, the Jewish, but what are some rom-coms that you all watched when you were growing up that might have inspired you or really, sort of propelled you to this kind of genre?
I talk about this a lot, actually, and I'm like hoping that somebody will like somehow show this to her in some capacity, and then I'll hear from her. But like so much of what I learned about love is from Julia Roberts, like how you get love, how you receive, how you give it, how you run away from it, how you lust after the unavailable person and even still get the one you want. Like all those things I learned really from her. And so like, I really wanted to write a film that was like, what would Julia Roberts play if she were a gay Arab Muslim man? And so like, I would say anything from her canon is really like a pretty left a big impression on me.
Anyone else?
I just recently rewatched the Bridget Jones series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, that wasn't necessarily when I was growing up, but I loved it again because it wasn't your typical heroine. She was sort of messy and didn't really have her life all the way together. And it was so relatable on so many levels. I loved that. And yeah, Julia Roberts, she wrote the book.
Yeah, she really did.
I don't know if it holds up, but I really liked You've Got Mail.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Love that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wait,
definitely.
fun fact. I mean, You Got Mail is based on what musical, which is
I
based
know.
on what movie?
Well, it's based on multiple things. There's a Judy Garland movie with a similar, which I also love, it's called In the Good Old Summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a
Chopper on
movie
the
before
corner.
that, Shop Around the Corner. But there was that wasn't a musical though, I don't think.
The musical is She Loves Me.
That's right. There's so many it's just such a good concept, you know? The frenemy. It's really hot. Frenemies. It is.
Yes.
Like a nemesis, and then you're like,
Yeah.
love and hate are two sides of the same coin.
Michael, were there any romantic comedies that you really enjoyed growing up?
No, I'm definitely in the, as mentioned, category of like Julia Roberts, Tom Hanks, Hugh Grant, Meg Ryan, all those. I mean, those are the movies that I thought were real life, and it was so disappointing to find
That you didn't get a meet cute.
yeah.
Well, but, I mean, just so you all know, Julia Roberts is from Atlanta. She grew
Hey!
up.
Right.
She's from Smyrna.
Yeah, she's
Right?
Which is
Georgia, yeah.
Atlanta-ish. It's
It's
sort of
Atlanta,
like
yeah.
part
Hey,
of
listen,
Atlanta.
if you had any connects, we'll take it. We'll drive to Smyrna.
Yeah, it's not far from.
Our hope is that someone who knows Julia is
Yeah.
on here and can connect you to, and your
Great.
next film will start in 2021 with Julia.
Yeah.
Julia,
Ask,
yes.
you know,
I'm
that'd be great.
interested. I'm interested.
That's great. I have a couple of questions. Did all the actors have a background in speaking Arabic? If not, was it hard to learn those lines?
Should we keep the batting order? I had no experience speaking Arabic. I still don't think that what I did in the film passes as having spoken Arabic, but I did do it that time that they included in the film.
My parents are from Egypt, so I speak colloquial Egyptian Arabic, which is really different from Lebanese and a lot of other dialects. So I worked as hard as I could with Sarah on the bits of Arabic that I had. I don't know if I pulled it off necessarily.
Definitely pulled it off.
Yes,
Definitely. As did
absolutely.
Michael. Definitely pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I was born in Beirut, and Arabic is what's spoken at home in my family, and specifically the Lebanese dialect that was in the movie. So it was really fun. That was the first time I'd ever gotten to improvise in Arabic, so that was really exciting.
Nice.
There's
I
some
know.
takes that are awesome, Aline.
I'm waiting on that blooper reel. So we could not keep straight faces.
Good, because it's a gay movie.
We have another question. Have you had any pushback from more conservative members of the Muslim community?
Definitely not yet. I don't think we should expect any more pushback from the Muslim community than we would from any other conservative religious community.
Yeah.
I definitely have heard some non-Muslim who fare on the more conservative side say this is sort of a whitewashed version of Islam, or these people are not real Muslims, so we have nothing to worry about, So I think sort of the level of bigotry, sort of we get it across all spectrums. What I will say, and what is more important than any hate we may receive, is that the amount of people, specifically gay or queer Arab men and women, who reach out and say thank you, and say thank you for giving us a story that looks like our story, etc., means more to me than any hate that might get thrown my way.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things I like about this film is that it has such a strong ensemble. I mean, obviously it's got a great romance relationship at the core, but there are all these vivid characters around. I love the relationship with the family. Mike, can you just talk a little bit about, fleshing out this film and just making it so that, there was so many layers to the film and all the characters?
Yeah, sure. Seth Hauer, who is my producing partner and was a producer on this film, really, should share in the credit of developing it with me. He did an exceptional job, and we worked very well together. So I want to at least acknowledge him since he can't be here. But really, I think, being Muslim and being gay and being Arab are three individual things that are not a monolith. And when you put them all together, they even as a collective, they are still not a monolith in the way that someone lives their life. And it doesn't ever fall on deaf ears to me, or I'm not blinded by the fact that Mo's version of his queerness and his relationship with his faith is one from a very privileged place. Mo, our protagonist, is in the few lucky category where those things can work, right? And so it was very important to me to create a triangulation amongst the Arab Muslim characters, men in the film, Mo, Sam, and Hassan, the boyfriend. from the beginning, because those are three very specific experiences that I know of, I'm sure Amin knows of, that we all sort of know of that exist. And even then, that's just three of the multitude of versions of what it means to be queer and Muslim. Additionally, I think what we can all agree on is that as Arabs, tradition, culture, family are all things that are instilled in us from a very early age. And I think a lot of people can, from any cultural background can agree. So for me, I not only wanted to represent the ideal within a family structure, but also say, I think we all should examine this, because what we're showing here is what the norm should be. I also, Aline mentioned this earlier, and this was also something very important to me. I think when you see Arab women or Muslim women represented in film and TV, you tend to see a Western version of what they think of a woman living in the Middle East. And that looks like none of the women who raised me or who I grew up around. And so it was really important to me that all of the women in the film were fierce linebackers of love and just sort of bulldozed you with the amount of love they sent your way, and basically beat you in the face with love and and food. They weren't stuffing your face, they were hitting it because they loved you so much.
That's great. I have to mention Veronica Cartwright. Veronica
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a dream. What an honor.
I've been watching Veronica Cartwright for so long. But was it easy getting her involved with this?
It was actually, I will give a lot of credit to our casting director, Tinika Becker, who mentioned her name. She was the most lovely of humans to even come in and read for it. I was awestruck in the room, and what I will never forget, one of the sweetest things ever was watching Michael and Haas on set that day, just enamored by her, as one should be, and just sort of hanging on her every word and watching her craft. It was the cutest thing to watch these two men fawn over her.
She was so, I was really excited to meet her, and it's such an awkward scene, and it's kind of on me to make it awkward, for lack of a better way to label it. Yeah. And we're also, the thing that you often don't see and that you don't see in the scene is that we're just sitting in the parking lot of a bus station, essentially. And there's just buses every 30 seconds. And she is just on every take, no matter where the camera is, she is just right there. The tear is here and the fury is here. And it's she has so much available to her. And it is there's probably a couple of swatches of me in the film watching her just being what's about to happen? What is about to happen?
And she's such a, she'll use it. If a helicopter flew overhead, she was wait, give it a death stare, come back to us and just be in the scene. And it was it was keep rolling and just let her do her thing, because she was awesome.
Yeah. And she also, I just want to say that is, and Aline, I was about to say Mona, Aline, there's a lot of really wonderful performances in this film where they have to come in and just parachute in and nail it, and then we're moving right along. And that is the hardest thing to do as an actor. And Aline was excellent at that. Veronica was excellent at that. The cast is so strong, and those are the hardest jobs as an actor, in my opinion.
The guy who ate the grape in the grocery store was excellent at that.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Did any of you know Haas before you started this project?
Yeah. Yes, I've known him for a long time. Sarah's actually known him probably longer than I have.
Yeah.
He was, to be very frank with you, I didn't think we could get him. I thought he was going to be, very busy and not available. And there was just this perfect, and I forget who, it was either Seth or our other producer, Bay, or somebody said, hey, we should film this in that weird pocket of time where actors aren't working, just before Christmas. And we did, and we were lucky enough to get him, and then we're able to build the cast around him. But fun fact, Haas was Hassan, the boyfriend, in the short version of Breaking Fast, and ended up on the cutting room floor. So I had to pay him back a little bit. So I let him be the lead in this one.
Mike, I don't know if you know this, but I met Haas on like one of the very first things I ever did in LA.
Oh,
He was in this movie called Waiting for Dorfman.
Yeah,
No, it was just called Dorfman.
That's
Dorfman.
another.
It's a rom-com.
Yes.
And he was one of the male leads in that movie, and it was starred Sarah Rue. And she, by the time it came to do the like poster shoot for the movie, she was pregnant, and so I came in and was Sarah Rue's body double, and so yes. So I got to spend the whole day with Haas, like probably 10, 12 years ago. I mean, it was like one of the first things I ever did in Los Angeles.
That's
so
awesome.
funny.
That's so funny. Yeah.
And so when we saw each other again on Breaking Fast, it was like, you, I know you. Yeah.
We have a few more questions. Did the success of Shawls of Sunset make it easier to find funding?
I would say probably not, because I think there's such different, I mean, they're different genres. This is a narrative feature, whereas like Shawls of Sunset is, you know, completely like unscripted reality. I don't think that it's something that we really, I don't think it's something that really was advantageous to us, nor something that like we were really looking at as far as like when we were building our financing and going out to our investors. They're kind of in separate buckets, so it's not something we looked at too closely.
But if any of those rich Persians want to throw money at our next one,
we'd be into
we're
it.
available.
Yeah.
We're, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, are you the TLC fan who selected Waterfalls?
I am, yes, and I selected it because no matter who you are, when it comes on, you bop your head to it. I also selected it because I really wanted to write characters who were, you know, in their 30s, you know, and were of a certain era where that song would really resonate with them, and they could share that as a common, a bonding experience. And I'm also the idiot who thought we would ever afford it when we go wide. So enjoy it while you can.
Nice, nice. So if I'm correct, didn't you all premiere at Outfest Fusion?
Our LA premiere was Outfest Fusion, and our world premiere was at CineQuest.
Okay, great.
And they were days apart.
Nice. So obviously the year has sort of veered off into a direction that none of us anticipated. You know, luckily we have Zoom to be able to do great conversations like this, but what's it been like, you know, starting off with a boom with these two premieres, but then having to do the rest of your festival tour virtual?
Yeah.
For all of you.
I mean, I'll just say really quickly, honestly, like in a way, I mean, it would always have been preferable to be together and in person and traveling together and going to these festivals and interacting with people live and in person. But I also think like, because everybody was so astute, I mean, the festival community was so smart and pivoted so quickly and figured it out so fast. You know, I think we were actually able to participate in so many more than maybe we would have been able to had we, you know, had these been happening live and in person. We are also like, and I know this is so, it was such a lovely, lovely thing and a blessing from God that we were able to premiere with a live audience and really get the sense of what that felt like and what those crowds, how they were responding. So in a way, like, you know, we got both, you know, we you know, it's hard to lament what wasn't, because all we know is what is, but you know, I'm okay with it. I think it's, you know, it's fine, and we're all healthy, thank God.
Oh, nice. These are for the performers. Why do you think this film is so universal?
I think that this film is universal because of the specifics. I feel very strongly that things are funny and dramatic when they're actually rooted in specifics, not even truth, but just specifics. And that's what I recognize in this film is like, I don't really have a mother like this, and I didn't know many Muslim people before I did this film. And I immediately recognized the sort of inner turmoil of having a secret in certain circles like Mo does, or having sort of like an empty relationship in a relationship that feels perfect, like he does at the beginning. And the sort of like inability to trust someone who you have no reason to not trust. Those things feel like right underneath me and who I am in relationships, for better or for worse. And I think that is, if you tell that story specifically, it becomes universal. And that's how I connect to it as an actor.
Okay. Either.
I think at the end of the day, the story is not really about being Arab or Muslim or queer, which is what's kind of refreshing about it.
Yeah.
We get a celebration of that culture and of those identities and some idea of what that experience is like. But really, it's about how do you get out of your own way and be open to love, which I think anyone can relate to on any level. I think that's kind of what's so amazing about the film, is that it's so palatable on this very basic level, but at the same time is sort of revolutionary and subversive in that we've just never seen that particular story told in that way.
Sure.
I totally agree with what Michael and Amin said. And I think, like, you take these themes that are universal, love, wanting to be loved, how do you get out of your own way to do that? And yet the inroads are so simple and specific, to Michael's point of like, who hasn't prepared food for someone that they care about before? And like, as an inroads to the story, anybody can connect to that. So I just thought it was really smart filmmaking.
Nice. So what's next? I mean, as you sort of, I guess, wind down your festival run, you know, this fall and next, what's next for the film? Are you hoping to, have you been talking to distributors about this?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We are being, we are picked up for distribution by Vertical Entertainment.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Will be released in January, January is the tentative release, 2021. So fairly soon. And they're doing US and UK. Hopefully shortly thereafter, we'll have some sort of foreign presence. Yeah, we're so excited for this film to reach as many people as possible.
That's so exciting. Congratulations to you all. Real quickly, let's go around the Zoom room, and talk about what's next for all of you.
The Zoom room.
The Zoom room.
I am appearing in a few episodes of a new show on the Sci-Fi Network called Resident Alien.
Nice.
Awesome.
Amin.
Oh, it's me. I'm on a show called Good Trouble, and I shot some of it right before everything shut down. So I'm in that. And then I also am in another queer indie film that's really different that I think is in post-production now.
What's the name of it?
It's called Spring Bloom. I'm not sure if that's the working title. It's a queer drama that takes place in Austin, that's filmed in 3D.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So that's the gimmick.
Okay. Great.
I am Zooming a lot of the artistic endeavors these days. So I have been doing a series of play readings with a group that I used to work with out of the graduate school that I went to, and then a lot of voiceover stuff that I can't really talk about yet, but that's in COVID where I have landed, is definitely not in front of a camera.
Nice. So as I mentioned, Julie Roberts is from Smyrna. So our hope is that someone watching this can connect us. So what if Julie is interested, would you come down here and film in Smyrna or Atlanta? Would you film your next film here?
She could literally ask me to do anything, and the answer is yeah. I would get COVID for Julia Roberts.
Oh,
Too dark.
Yeah, well, this is too soon. Really,
dark.
really
Too
soon. Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like she's so sweet. She probably wouldn't want that.
She wouldn't.
Yeah,
she
no,
wouldn't.
Bless her heart. Bless
Yeah,
her heart.
Bless her heart.
Bless
indeed.
her heart, Julia.
The real trick is, how am I going to meet her one day, God willing, and not just want to say Shelby? I'm just going to want to say Shelby the whole time.
don't talk about me like I'm not here, Mama.
I love Atlanta. I would pay to go to Atlanta on a vacation. I love Atlanta.
That is great.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't need Julia Roberts.
I was gonna end this, but what's everybody's favorite Julia? What's everybody's favorite Julia?
Oh,
God.
God.
Julia Roberts film or Julia?
Yeah, Julia Roberts
in general?
film. Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's the Hugh Grant one where she's a
Notting
movie
Hill.
star?
Notting Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, in Notting Hill, the dinner scene where they go around and tell terrible stories, and then she tells the story.
And
And
she
then
wins
like-
the cookie.
Yeah, but she's like amazing in that scene,
Oh.
dude. Like, what? I was like, oh my God, movie stars have it so bad when I watched that movie. She was amazing.
I
I love my
bet
best friend's wedding.
my best friend's wedding.
I
yes.
think that's probably
My
my
best
Because
friend's
it-
wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not the typical rom-com. She's not likable Julia, and she's exceptional. You still love her. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, you're literally rooting for her to break up this relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I get it, Julia.
Annoying
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz.
You're like, you put in the
They
work.
should have been
I-
together.
Put in the work.
Yeah.
I like Aaron Brockovich. I know it's not a rom.
Oh, that's a great one, though. That's a great movie.
I just remember being like, damn, Julia. Just-
Yeah.
But also Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Mystic Pizza.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Her
cool.
Her
Yeah.
first.
I
Exactly.
am obsessed with 30 Rock, and they do like when Jane Krakowski's character stars in the Mystic Pizza musical and has to eat like 28 slices of pizza every night in the show. Made me laugh so hard.
It's gonna happen. We're all gonna be in Smyrna this time next year.
We're gonna get this to Julia and her people and her family and work it out. And this is gonna be filming in 2021. So work on this. Get all your actors happy to come down here. So in Smyrna or Atlanta or wherever part of Atlanta we're going to be in next year. So
Breaking Fast 2, Breaking Faster.
Apply for the incentive.
Yes.
It's a dream.
Listen, Amin and I are still gunning for our own spinoff. We
Yeah.
want a road trip
Telling
movie.
the
road trip movie.
secret. Stop telling the secret.
Too fast, too broken. Too broken, too fast.
Too broken to fast, yeah.
this has been so much fun. This has been a great Q&A. Thank you all so much for being here, taking the time. Thanks for sharing this movie. Thanks to all of our audience members who watched the film and who've been here in the chat. Very, very excited for you for your release.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you to Julia Roberts. Thank you.
Smyrna.
Take care, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.